never seen prices inflate in the Bakersfield Valley as fast as we've seen them rise in like the last 2-3 years. So we have a ton of transplants coming in from, the coastal counties, metropolitan counties out in LA. We also have clients shopping out here. They're like, what the heck is going on? Like, they're putting offers and they're just getting outbid left and right.
I kid you not, anytime I'm looking with some of my buyers, I'm going to wait for the crash to happen. Sold. You may be what we call in real estate, you may be outpriced of the market.
The majority of the people buying here don't live here. This market's booming, and are people sleeping on Bakersfield? I think they are. We can jump into the second point, and this is specifically about the Bakersfield market. And
Why are we talking about Bakersfield?
We're talking about Bakersfield because we've talked to people, and it's only because we're people who've purchased a property here, and now we have a portfolio property in Bakersfield, but we also have clients that lived here. Yeah, we have clients that live here full time. They've owned in PMC, and their property is their primary residence in Bakersfield. But they're even like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe the prices are as high as they are here. Like we've lived here for X 20, 30, 40 years. Like we grew up here, and we've never seen prices inflate in the Bakersfield Valley as fast as we've seen them rise in like the last 2-3 years. So there's this housing boom that's kind of like, if you don't have the stomach to move to Arizona or Texas, it's kind of like, all right, we're going to the Antelope Valley or we're going to Bakersfield. That's what it seems like. And so we have a ton of transplants coming in from, the coastal counties, the metropolitan counties out in LA. But people are just starting to gravitate. They're saying it's actually not too bad of an area, super affordable, and it's still close enough to the places that I used to live, or my family may still live in Santa Clarita or the Valley. It's just through the grapevine I can get there in about 2 hours time. Like that might be a viable option for me to move. And so it's booming, and we're kind of experiencing it in different ways. Like we're seeing prices go up, but we also have clients shopping out here, and they're like,
we're helping buyers.
Yeah, what the heck they're like, what the heck is going on? Like they're putting offers and they're just getting outbid left and right. So I thought it was worth bringing up because this market's booming, and are people sleeping on Bakersfield? I think they are.
I think they are. So one of the things that it really is so beautiful about Bakersfield, and this is just from my personal experience and walking around town, or when we're shopping, or when we're just, doing life here, or just whatever, is how incredible the people and hardworking they are. And some of the clients that we currently are working with, they have blue collar jobs. Like I'm talking about
blue chip workers. Yeah.
They, work really hard, and they labor with their hands, and they don't have budgets that are $500,000 or $1 million, but guess what? They have a good enough budget where they could buy something really, really great here.
Yeah, nice little house.
2 mid to high, 2s, low threes could still get you a nice little 3-bedroom, 1 or 2 bath, 1,200, 1,500 square foot home in a decent area. It just kind of depends what you want. Obviously, the higher the budget, the better. And so if you've been seeing my TikToks and you're like, oh, okay, you're in Bakersfield now too, what? And I feel like it was just a normal, natural expansion for us. Yeah. And I feel like it was one of those things where when you are getting more people, when something continues to come your way, you just kind of have to really explore that. Yeah. So I feel like helping a lot of these buyers really has made a big difference, I think, for us too, in understanding and appreciating and every single dollar that is made and how everybody spends it. I mean, we're helping anywhere from, people that are from LA that are investors and want to buy something, do an investment, something newer construction and rent it out, or, something a little bit more fixer-upper and, flip it, to house cleaners, individuals who are working so hard for their family and are wanting to have a little piece of land here because they've lived here for over 10 years. And so it's just been really incredible to step into a place of adding value, adding support, and just giving them our perspective. And I think that when we bought a house here and we decided, we're going to invest in Bakersfield, it was a very purposeful decision. Yep. And so I think that, and again, it's one of those things where when you're growing a real estate portfolio and when you're growing and deciding to put your hard-earned money somewhere, real estate, despite of its, up and down,
cyclical. It's cyclical.
It's going to be appreciated. Yeah. So I really do feel like that's one of the things that, going back to the point, is the Bakersfield housing booming? Yes, there's not a lot of inventory.
Very little.
I kid you not, anytime I'm looking with some of my buyers, I tell them you have to look and you have to submit an offer today because there's already 5 or 6 offers, especially something in the 2s and the 3s and the 4s. Like that's area. Probably going to move a lot quicker because there's more fish in that pond than something higher than that. But so that's just kind of the name of the game. But the fact that a lot of these properties are already, and like I said, when you're working with individuals who are deciding to do FHA financing, right? And not every seller is going to accept that. So we just have to be a little bit more strategic and help our clients. And that's when, we step in and support. So it's just been really great because I think it's really for us. And if you know us, you know that, of course, real estate is livelihood and it is part of our income. It's our job. However, there's just nothing that replaces when we support people, when we support other agents be better, when we support our clients get the house that they want. So it's just a joy.
No, it's cool. And I mean, there's a stat, and I'm going to put an overlay when I'm talking about this, but I believe it's over 80% of the people that are buying the homes in Bakersfield. Because it tells, you can get all these metrics from the GMLS, which is the MLS that supports Bakersfield. But it talks about how there's a thing where it talks about where people are moving from, like whether it's out of state, and almost 60% are moving from California. Now you're like, what does that mean? That doesn't make any sense to me. Because there's people that move in you guys kind of intermingle meaning you live in Bakersfield, you bought something in Bakersfield. A majority of the people buying here do not live in Bakersfield.
Right.
So that's the stat. And they're people typically our age. They're about 30 all the way up to 50. That's their age range. They may have a couple kids.
Bakersfield Association of Realtors bringing the stats. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, the interesting stat is the majority of the people buying here don't live here.
Crazy. I know. I was just talking to someone that moved from San Francisco.
Yeah.
So it's like
and the neighbors to one of our properties, they came from where you came from, right? They came from West Covina.
From West Covina. Well, I didn't move. I lived there growing up. Then I moved to college and then
You've been all over, but you grew up in West Covina.
But I grew up in West Covina. So
that's where they were from.
They were from there. Yeah. And I just thought, wow.
And then when we were getting my smog done, the guy that owned the smog shop, he was from downtown Los Angeles.
Yep. And he decided to come here. Why? Because his little shop.
He said, he's just like, I'm telling my family, man, you guys got to stop living week to week and paying this exorbitant amount of money to live in an area you can't even enjoy. He's like, so I'm trying to evangelize all my friends and family to move here. And I'm like, no, dude, I totally understand. But that's the stat. And the reason I'm saying this is because we've had a couple clients and they have cold feet where they're like, I don't want to pay a little bit more for mortgage. And I'm like...
Because their rent is so good here.
Yeah, their rent is good, and I'm trying to, I'm trying to admonish and share. The thing is, man, if you wait another 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, another decade, 2030.
I'm talking 2 years.
Yeah, if you wait longer, you're always going to be renting. Like it's going to be, as much as I want to live in the San Fernando Valley where all of my family lives, I can't afford to live there comfortably. As much as I want to live in Porter Ranch where it's nice and it's clean and neighborhoods are super cute. I'm not going to buy $1 million house that's the equivalent to like a $600,000 house here. I'm just not going to do that.
Yep.
And the people here that can still, they might have to edge themselves a little forward and maybe stretch a little bit.
Be a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. The thing is they can still support that mortgage, but as people kind of flock to Bakersfield and demand keeps getting crushed or demand keeps going up, but inventory keeps getting crushed, a lot of the locals, they're just not going to be able to afford to own something for themselves. They're always going to live in like a perpetual state of renting. And there's nothing wrong with renting, but if you could afford to own something, that's when the magic happens. Because you could start moving your equity into a new house. You can pay that down, save up, upgrade into another house in 5 years. But you can you can establish your family for years to come. Like it's delayed gratification, right? Like, okay, we're gonna we're going to test our budget a little bit and we might have to pull back on some of the things we like to do. But in a decade, that house is going to have so much equity in it. Like, you're going to have room to play. And my fear is, like, the people that are local here, it's hard to beat LA money. It's hard to beat Oxnard, Santa Barbara money. Like, these people are bringing their remote jobs, and it sucks for the community. But that's why I'm urging my like the local homegrown Bakersfield residents. I'm like, if you guys can move into something, like, don't sleep on it, because inventories it's still crushed. And once, I'm already calling it, once these home builders run out of space this way, they're going to start building up this way. That's what happened in LA. It was tract homes. Okay, we're going to make it harder to do that. Okay, it's condos. Okay, we're going to make it harder to do that. All right, now it's apartments. And then eventually all you're going to be able to afford is a little apartment.
Right.
And you're not going to be able to afford a house.
We just really want to empower, we want to empower, if you live in Bakersfield and you're a buyer, you live in Bakersfield and you're renting and you're wondering, like, could I be a home buyer? Like, could I be a homeowner? And let's just have a conversation. I think there is nothing greater than to empower you through education. I have incidences where clients have been pre-approved and they are they're mechanics, or they work in auto shops, or, they have multiple jobs. And that's just like the nature of people that work here. Right. And, they decide to hold off because their rent is, $800, $1,000. And obviously having to pay something like a mortgage, close to $2,000. That's like double, triple what they're currently paying.
Scary. That's
and
scary.
I understand that, but at some point, this is, you may be what we call in real estate, you may be outpriced out of the market, and you may not have an opportunity to buy. And we're not trying to be, make you scarce, but the fact that some of our friends and colleagues from LA, from other areas, are looking to move here is telling you something. So I think that that's another thing that we're just trying to remind people of, that you want to make sure that you are understanding what real estate is all about. And if you speak Spanish, yo hablo español, yo te apoyo, yo te puedo ayudar. And quiero que tengas una casa, quiero empoderarte, quiero que seas una compradora, un comprador. So I was just saying, I want to empower you. If you speak Spanish and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't have much education, we'll support you. And some of our coordinators are very fluent in English and Spanish, and will support in different ways too. So I'm just so excited, for whoever comes our way. I very strongly feel like this booming here, even though there's not a lot of houses at some point. And we're going to get to a place where, if the interests go down and sellers get more motivated.
To the races,
then you're going to see a lot of these buyers decide to go back to market, but the competition is going to be up. So if you can, and if you're in a position to do it, go for it, because the last thing you want, and if you're in a different position, if you are, I'm working with other clients who are really well established, who are entrepreneurs, who are teachers, who are just in super great shape, and they're looking to live somewhere more trendy, like downtown Bakersfield. We love downtown Bakersfield. Cool. We're learning so much about it. We're going to be doing some videos on it, on just our personal experience. But there's such great, cool people there. There's a lot of businesses that are just booming and are just, there's a lot of really, people are bringing their gifts here, and they're just really transforming the community. So and then of course, people who have lived here for decades. I follow this girl and who has her own like branding studio here, and I just love seeing all the things that she does. So I don't know. I just feel like this may be the perfect place for if you're looking to transplant out, like if you're looking to transplant somewhere from where you're at, and to, and I know it could be scary, because if all your family is in LA and you're 2 hours away or an hour away, if you decide to, come here to Pine Mountain Club as well.
It's doable, but you got to plan it.
It's doable, but I understand that that's going to be a big life change. So that kind of segues into our next topic. I don't know if there's anything else you want to mention.
No, that's good. You said it perfectly. It's not to fearmonger. It's just land is finite. And eventually builders will run out of space.
Why do you just always come up with this great catch? Say it again.
Land is finite.
Ooh. You're just so amazing.
So
my husband just makes, like, I'm in awe of him every single day. Like, it just plug. Okay,
and then that's reciprocated, of course. But land is finite. So once they run out, prices don't skyrocket until builders run out of space out here. We do have a lot of space in Bakersfield, A lot of it is zoned agricultural. What they probably wouldn't touch that because it's kind of protected to make sure we can have produce and stuff. But once the stuff they can build on runs out, that's where you see the prices just go crazy. Yeah. It's just right now you see building developments popping up. Yeah. They're selling out like that.
There's still a lot of new construction.
Yeah, they're selling out instantly. But once that space, that finite space is taken all up and they can't build no more, then it becomes a hot commodity because anything that there's a limited supply of will always be more valuable. Like diamonds, gold, anything that has a short supply and there's no more coming in, that's when property values go up. And even just to share a little vulnerability about our investment property here, we had that thing already has equity in it.
Yeah,
we just purchased that thing.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. Like the incentives are starting to go away. Builders starting to tighten up on the incentives.
Yeah,
and so we're just telling you guys like. Your Theo that's like, nah, bro, the market's gonna crash. Like, stop listening to that dude because it's not. Like, we see this stuff daily.
I keep seeing the TikTok videos of like 2020. I'm gonna wait for the crash to happen. Guess what? Like, I'm driving over some.
Are you
some
sure
of these
about that?
Construction communities sold, and I'm just like, yes. And there's no inventory. And the fact that most houses in Bakersfield have like 4, 5, 6 offers.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's just nuts.
Yeah, like 5 years ago, that wasn't the market, but this market is
just like Pine Mountain. That's like the same thing in Pine Mountain Club.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but we're starting to see a little bit more. So that's one of the things too. A lot of the times when my clients are like, I love Pine Mountain Club, but I just want something that's just not too remote. We come to Bakersfield and. Sure enough, we'll get them into a new construction site and then they'll be like, this is it. Let's buy it. Let's reserve the lot.
New construction's always like, you walk in, you're just like, I don't want to look at anything else. Yeah, I don't want to see anything else after this. Hey, if you guys like that video, go ahead and watch the full podcast right here. And if you want to watch our channel's newest video, you can watch that right here. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and we'll catch you in the next.